Previously on the Skip and Josh Sports Show.
I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they did last year, but I believe everything you're saying.
Yeah.
And the thing that I found the most interesting is Crosby basically picked it up. They took the photo.
And then he took it to the bench.
He took it to the locker room like you never saw him again.
Yeah.
The celebration was it just sort of ended.
Right. But I think in Nashville, they didn't touch the trophy.
No, they didn't. Whatever. You know what? Touch it, don't touch it. I don't think that really matters.
The Skip and Josh Sports Show is on now.
Skip, how are things in Montreal?
Things are great. It's like finally signs of spring.
Well, it's been raining on and off every day here in Toronto.
Yeah.
And it'll rain for like 5 minutes. It'll be coming down buckets, and then it'll be sweltering hot and bright sunny. It's the weirdest weather I've ever seen.
Welcome to Canada.
Yes.
So just to remind everybody that we record this show remotely. Josh is in his living room in Toronto, and I'm in my basement in Montreal. And through the internet, we're able to connect and record this.
Yeah, and my internet was down actually for 24 hours, so there was a chance that this episode was never going to happen.
You told me not only your internet was down, your cable, internet, the whole deal. That's like, you talk about first world problems, that's major.
Right, and if this was 20 years ago, it might not be such a terrible thing. But now, like, imagine, no internet for 24 hours?
Yeah, that's not very good at all.
I was excited to go to work because there was internet there.
Oh my God. That's great. That's great. So it's a big milestone tonight.
Is it our 40th episode?
It is episode number 40. Cue the band.
Congratulations, by the way.
Yeah, congratulations. 40 episodes. I can't believe it. We started in November and we're going strong.
It's great. I'm excited.
So we normally record on like Saturday or Sunday. And I'm going away this weekend for work, so we decided to record this on Wednesday night. Game 1 of the NHL playoffs happened 2 nights ago. Game 2 is about to happen. And so, I don't know how much you want to talk about the NHL playoffs, because like by the time this gets online, Game 2 is going to have been over. But what are your impressions of Game 1?
So I actually didn't see Game 1 because I was at the baseball game that night.
Oh, you went to the Jays game. They're huge. They won 75-2.
Yes, it was, I think, the third highest score in Jays history.
Yeah.
And we could talk about that later in the show. But to answer your question, so obviously I watched the highlights and I read everything about it. And I couldn't believe that Pittsburgh went 37 minutes without a shot on goal.
It was unbelievable to watch on TV. Because actually, as the game was unfolding, until the announcer said it at one point, you wouldn't necessarily realize that there was no shots. It wasn't like the puck was in their end the whole time, and they couldn't clear or whatever. It was like back and forth, but then you realize there was no shots, no shots in the second period. Like when have you ever seen that?
I don't think you could take the worst team in the league, and I don't think I've ever heard that they didn't get any shots at all in any given period.
It's really unbelievable that Pittsburgh pulled that game out. I mean, and I felt a little bit vindicated because you were like pumping the tires of Pekka Rinne, and I was like a little bit skeptical about him. And then certainly allowing I don't know what he did, 5 goals on 10 shots. It's not
okay. But if you felt bad if you would have felt bad if Pittsburgh lost to Ottawa in Game 7, then you should feel bad that Nashville lost this game, because Nashville deserved to win this game.
You definitely got me there. That's true.
They deserved to win this game. They outshot the Penguins. They came back from a 3-0 deficit. And also, never mind, when the game was 0-0 and they scored the first goal that was disallowed because of that stupid offside, they got totally hosed.
Yeah. They didn't. Why do you think they get hosed? Do you think the call was wrong?
If that's offside, then I don't know. It's ridiculous.
The call was right. The rule is bad. The refs are enforcing the rule, but the rule sucks. And I think the NHL didn't realize when they said, oh yeah, we're going to have instant replay on these offsides. And then they had to start clarifying, if the skate is over the blue line in the air, not touching the ice. There's all these little intricacies now, right? And everything's in HD, so of course you can see it. But I really don't think they anticipated, that this little obscure offside rule would cause such a huge problem. It's really terrible.
I'm sure they didn't, and maybe they'll tweak the rule in the offseason. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure they will, but doesn't mean they're going to tweak it for the better. I mean, look, I give the NHL credit; they're a little bit in the forefront when it comes to instant replay. They've embraced instant replay, unlike other sports like MLB, which like is still trying to figure out what to do with it.
And correct me if I'm wrong. The first Pittsburgh goal that counted,
Yeah.
should not have counted if I remember correctly as I was watching the highlights.
Well, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean,
so in other words, instead of being 1-0 Pittsburgh when it was 1-0, it should have actually been 1-0 Nashville.
yeah. Well, and then the third goal, they had Nashville put in their own net.
Right.
So
look, Nashville deserved to win that game is all I'm saying.
I think game 2 is a statement game for Pittsburgh, because if they come out and get abused again like they did, regardless of the outcome, I mean, like I told you, like I said, like you just called me out on, when you carry the play for that long, you deserve to win. So if if Nashville carries the game again tonight and dominates and can't come out on top, I still like their chances down to nothing. Like the team that's playing better usually comes out on top. Like the luck can only hold out for so long.
And you know what? Even if Nashville goes down 2-0 in the series, going back home to Nashville, it's not the greatest thing, but it's not the end of the world either. I mean, they're going home down 2-0. All they have to do is win both games at home, and it's a tied series.
How many catfish do you think they'll get tossed on the ice at game 3?
That annoys the hell out of me, actually.
Why?
All these people bringing animals into the arenas, and like octopus in Detroit. Well, first of all, why would you do that?
Well, did you read the whole story?
How do you even get in?
Did you read the whole story about the catfish? The guy brought it from Nashville.
He brought it from Nashville, and
it's unclear how he traveled. Hopefully by car, but he and then he smuggled the fish in, like he put it in his pants. I'm gonna post the article on our website. It's almost too ridiculous to be true. And his defense, like, he's like being prosecuted now, right? They're calling, there's like all these weird infractions that they've arrested him on, and his defense is like, I'm just a stupid redneck.
That's not a bad defense, actually.
It's perfect.
But like, anyway, whatever. Enough with these, animals on the ice.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is, but who knows? So I don't know. I don't have anything more to really add about the NHL. I guess we'll just have to see what happens tonight.
Yeah, I got nothing more to add on the Stanley Cup final. But
oh yeah, you emailed me today some big news that we've been kind of following, right?
Yeah. Oh, there's that too. But that's not what I was going to talk about. But we could talk about that. So the NHL finally did announce their All-Star game.
Right.
And I don't know if I've been living under a rock, but I didn't hear about the announcement until this morning.
I didn't hear about it either until you emailed it to me. I'm like,
and this happened on Monday.
And then I told you they did it on Monday on purpose because it's like overshadowed by, they slipped it in, with the rest of the news, hoping that no one's going to really talk about it.
Well, they fooled me.
Yeah.
And then, and the other thing is, in the link that I sent you, you noticed it says All-Star. There was no game. The word game wasn't there.
Yeah, it's just All-Star. All-Star 2018.
It's not grammatically correct.
Well,
it's got to be All-Star something.
Yeah, well, last week we entitled our episode "The Grammar Police," because we had to make sure that we're calling it the NBA Finals and the Stanley Cup Final, correct. And now we have to worry about All-Star. God forbid we should call it the All-Star Game. It's just called All-Star.
No, I'm going to be using the word game all the time.
Well, it is a game, so
yes.
Well, technically, exactly. I mean, I guess it's more of an exhibition. I don't know.
But a game nonetheless.
Yes.
Or maybe they're doing that because it's actually 3 games and they don't want to say All-Star games. So maybe that's why they're doing that.
So it's just All-Star, but it doesn't even make sense. It's not a word. It's not like a proper grammar at all.
I know. Believe me, I know.
Where are you going? You got tickets to All-Star?
Yeah. Like you could say All-Star game or All-Star skills competition or All-Star weekend, but you have to have something after the word
All-Star weekend. Oh my God, it's so true. My God, I can't believe that. It's unbelievable.
So anyway, this pretty much determines that the NHLers won't be going to the Olympics.
I agree, yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, they've announced the game in January, right? And the Olympics are in February, so I guess that's over with.
Yeah, I mean, the game is the same weekend that it always is. It's the weekend before the Super Bowl, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. It's the weekend before the Super Bowl.
One other unrelated piece of hockey news.
Yeah.
Washington Capitals general manager comes out and says that he won't be trading Alex Ovechkin, but he would consider trading him one day if a good hockey trade came up.
Yeah, but that's like, That applies to every player in the league.
But this bothers me, and I'll tell you why. Whether you consider trading Ovechkin or not, or trading Carey Price or not, or trading PK Subban or not, or any player.
Why come out and say it?
Exactly. Why would you say that?
All he does is stir up trouble, right?
Right, and then it actually puts him in a weaker spot in terms of negotiating if he is going to try and trade him, because then other teams are going to think, oh, he's trying to unload this guy. Maybe I could get a better deal. Yeah. Like for all those guys, for all the teams that have like one of the top 3 picks in the draft, I think one team has come out and said, yeah, we'll trade our pick if the right trade comes along, whatever.
Yeah. But what kind of trade could happen for Ovechkin?
I would never say that if I had one of the top picks. Like if you want to come to me and ask me for my pick, sure, I'll listen. Yeah. But I'm not going to come out and say, yes, I'm willing to trade my pick, because then that puts me in a weaker negotiating position.
Right. But like who could trade for Ovechkin? They obviously want to win. They're not like in a rebuild, so they're not going to want draft picks or young players. They want legit players. So it needs to be like a Subban for Weber type of trade, where you're trading a superstar for a superstar.
Exactly.
So who there's no one.
I mean, unless they want like a superstar, like, I don't know, Erik Karlsson from Ottawa. I'm just saying.
I know. Yes.
Because they want a superstar defenseman instead of a superstar forward.
Yeah. I just don't see like how Ovechkin could get traded, especially with all the money he makes. And like, I don't know. It's kind of weird. The whole thing was weird. I was like, why is he coming out and saying this? No one he doesn't need to say it. Just shut up. Right?
Yeah.
Just keep your mouth shut. It's so stupid.
I have no idea.
These GMs.
Hi there, Skip and Josh will be right back. To get in touch with them, you can send them an email to skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. You can follow them on Twitter @skipandjosh, and you can visit their website at www.skipandjosh.com. And now, back to the show.
I do have something to talk about baseball.
So do I.
I bet you it's the same thing.
Well, I mean, I was going to talk about the game, so I went to this 17-2
it's
game.
not the same thing. Okay, good.
And went with our friend Junior.
Well, who's going to turn down a Junior Mint? It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's delicious.
So he's in town. He doesn't live here. He's in town for 4 days.
Mm-hmm.
And he went to the game on Monday with me, and he went to the game on Tuesday with somebody else.
Wow. Are the tickets tough to get in Toronto these days?
He had no trouble getting them. It was interesting. He got 9 rows from the dugout.
Yeah.
Off one of these resellers.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was StubHub or SeatGeek or one of them.
Yeah.
And the face value of each ticket was $63, and he paid half that.
That's great.
I've never heard of paying less.
Me too.
Than face value for a Jays
ticket. Well, if the Jays start winning more, the tickets are going to just be more difficult, right? Remember like last year and the year before when you told me like it's impossible to get tickets.
Yeah. And in fact, they had a day game today, the Jays, and I think they had over 40,000 there for the day game.
Weird day for a day game, right? Middle.
Well, it's because it's a getaway day for the Reds.
Yeah.
And I think it was like all the schools were...
so they had buses of kids there.
Did like field trips or something like that, I think.
So you feel good about the Jays?
I mean, listen, they've got a lot of their injured guys are back.
Yeah.
Jay Happ came back from injury, and Liriano's going to come back from injury, I think, on Friday of this week. And the Jays just won, I think, was it 6 of the last 7 or something?
Yeah,
or even more than that. They won 5 in a row, lost 1, then won 3 in a row. So I guess they've won 8 of their last 9.
They're rounding into form, but I mean, they're still...
And they're crushing the ball.
Yeah.
Like, even yesterday, they won. It was only 6-4. It wasn't like 17, whatever.
They've closed the gap now,
Different guys have hit homers, and Josh Donaldson hit a homer into the 500 level at the Rogers Center, which is, I think, only 8 guys have done that or something.
The bringer of rain, isn't that?
He is the bringer of rain, yes.
Yeah.
One thing I'll say, so it was the first game I went to this year, and it's different when you go to a game rather than watch it on television, as you know. So you know how all the players have their own walk-up music?
Yeah.
And so, even though a lot of players are the same as last year, they've all changed their walk-up music.
So what's Donaldson?
I have to tell you, this is what I was going to tell you. I don't know what Donaldson's music is, and I could not tell you any of the songs for any of the guys in the starting lineup. I've never heard them before. I can't remember what they sound like.
Is it mostly
rap? I know music. Like I mean, whatever. I might not be...
but is it mostly like rap music or?
A lot of it is, yeah.
Yeah, so you don't know that music.
No, I don't at all.
Oh, that's interesting. Gone are the days of John Wetland. Remember when they used to bring in John Wetland at the Expos? They used to play AC/DC Thunderstruck. That was my favorite. So good. Yeah.
Yes, gone are those days.
Yeah. So, a couple of weeks ago, we talked about these unwritten rules in baseball.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought this up, because if you didn't, I was going to talk about
This is
it.
the number one thing I wanted to talk about this week. So, the unwritten rules in baseball, we talked about how much we hate them. Guys are getting beaned because they're running around. Manny Machado got hit by a pitch because he ran around the base a little too slow. And, and then, of course, things escalate. It's like, nuclear, everyone's stockpiling their weapons and things are escalating, right? Tempers are flaring. And, of course, there's a baseball fight, which usually no punches are thrown. But this week, it was really interesting because that fight between the Nationals and the Giants, that was a legit fight.
It was.
That was like punches thrown. Guys were out for blood. Like Michael Morse and Samardzija, they were like just bit players in this whole thing. They were like, that looked like a heavyweight. That was like the undercard, but it was
Morse
the two
has a
heavyweights.
concussion now.
I know Morse is huge, and Samardzija, he was like a tight end on Notre Dame.
I didn't know that.
He was a college football player. He could have went in the NFL, but he wanted to be a pitcher.
Okay, I had no idea.
So like these guys that was a major fight, but like, how annoying is it that this whole thing started because Hunter Strickland is a stupid baby. He's a baby.
He's a complete idiot, because
it's easy to hate Bryce Harper, right?
I don't even hate Bryce Harper.
But he's flashy. He's got the hair. He talks a lot, so he might rub people the wrong way. But like, he didn't do anything wrong here at Bryce Harper.
No, what he did was he hit 2 home runs 3 years ago.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what he did against Hunter Strickland. That's why he was hit by pitch.
Yeah. So because he hit a home run in the 2014 playoffs, Hunter Strickland decided to hit him with a 97-mile-per-hour fastball this week.
Yeah, I don't blame Harper for charging the mound.
No, the only thing Harper did wrong was, I don't know what the hell happened with his throwing of his helmet.
Oh, he was trying to hit Strickland with the helmet. There's no question.
Well, then if he was trying to hit him with the helmet, it was the worst throw of all time.
It was a bad throw, but
he
throwing
comes
a helmet,
charging in, he winds up the helmet, and it goes completely sideways.
Because it's not like a baseball. It's hard to throw a helmet.
He's
not going to go straight.
You know what? Look, Strickland got 6 games suspension, and Harper got 4, and I read today it was reduced to 3.
Yes.
If he hits him with the helmet, oh man, we're talking about major. This whole thing is different if he hits him with the helmet.
But you know what? Hitting Harper with the baseball is worse than hitting anybody with a helmet.
And you know what?
So you can't throw a helmet at 97 miles an hour.
This is the first time in my life that I can remember. Guys get hit, and it's on purpose, right?
Yeah.
You know it's on purpose.
Yeah.
But the manager comes out and says, I didn't ask for anything. The pitcher comes out and says, oh, I was just trying to pitch inside. The ball got away from me, right? They never admit it. Admit it. This time around, he basically admitted it, Hunter Strickland. He was like, he didn't say, yeah, I hit him on purpose, but he came as close to saying it as he could. And Bochy, the manager, he didn't even say anything. He's like, I didn't ask for anything. I didn't like, he kind of like separated himself from it, because I think Bochy thought that what Strickland did was bogus. So he didn't, he as much, you always have to support your player, but he kind of didn't, right? And Buster Posey, what's all over the internet, he's like the meme of the day, like not holding anybody back, because I think he also realized it was nonsense.
Yeah,
right?
The fact that Posey didn't try to stop it shows that Strickland was operating on his own here. It wasn't a team thing.
Yeah.
And it was strictly because Strickland got beat 3 years ago.
It's so I can't.
Meanwhile, that year that Harper hit those 2 homers off,
they won the World Series.
The Giants won the World Series, so they should be happy. He should be thrilled.
It's so ridiculous. I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what's in his head. It's like it was nothing part of the game, right? I forget who was up. One team was up. It was.
Yeah. It was a meaningless. It was 2 outs. There was nobody on. There was nothing going on.
He's like, you know what? I'm gonna hit him. You know what? What pops into his head that makes him want to do that? It's like this unwritten nonsense. And the other weird thing about it is Harper came out and said, "Well, at least he hit me where he was supposed to." Like, that's an unwritten rule about an unwritten rule.
Exactly.
I was. You should have seen me. I wanted to throw Harper's helmet at my TV.
But this is why I like Bryce Harper.
Well, he's honest. Yeah.
He understands that he's going to get hit, and he's even come out and said, I think it was a year ago, like this whole business of being hit by a pitch, after hitting home run or whatever, it's ridiculous. It needs to stop. And so I do like the fact that he said that, and I like the fact that at least Strickland hit him in the hip rather than in the head. Right. But I mean, the whole thing needs to stop. And then when you're doling out suspensions, you can't give the same number of games to a hitter as you give to a pitcher because a pitcher doesn't pitch every game.
He's not a starter though.
Okay, fine. So he got double.
Yeah.
In the end, he got double because he's going to get 6 and Harper's going to get 3.
Right.
But Harper's going to play in those 3 games. He'd play 27 innings.
Yeah.
Strickland in those 6 games, he might come in for a total of 6 innings.
Yeah, that's on the high side. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, Hunter Strickland is a really good pitcher. I don't know if you know, like he's good.
Well, he was an idiot the other day.
He's important to the Giants. He's an important part of their team, and the Giants are not off to a good start. So maybe there's frustration in terms of the way the team is performing. Like honestly, I can't wrap my head around the whole thing. Look, baseball fights, they're so stupid. This one though was highly entertaining, and as soon as I saw it on the highlights, I was like, oh, there's our next episode.
And the thing is, and we said this last time, and until the suspensions become, huge, double-digit amount of games or a lot of money or the manager getting suspended also, until that happens, pitchers are going to continue to do this. You're always going to find these old guys who, they've been in baseball for 50 years or more, and they're going to say, well, yeah, that's the right way to play the game. But it's not the right way to play the game.
No, it's not the right way at all.
I don't go to a game to see a guy get hit by a pitch.
No. I go to a game to see a guy hit homers.
Just like in hockey, I don't want to see fighting in hockey. I've been saying for 10 years, like get fighting out of hockey.
I agree. As soon as you say you want to get fighting out of hockey, people think, oh, you're a wimp. You're it's not real hockey. It's not for men. I'm like, do you understand?
You can play a tough hockey game without fighting.
Yeah, and we said it. The best hockey we've seen was in the Olympics.
Yeah.
Right? It was incredible. The last 2 Olympics tournaments, 3, all of them, that's the best hockey you see. It's end to end, back and forth, So what if a guy hits a home run off of you? Do your job, get the next guy out.
Exactly.
All right. I had to get that off my chest because, that was like a kind of something that's been bugging both of us. And I don't think it's going away. I just don't think it's going away. Those unwritten rules are here to stay.
They are.
Yeah, and you know what? You said like they need harsher suspensions, but like it would have been so unfair in a way to suspend Harper. So what if they gave Strickland a 20-game suspension and then they give Harper a 13-game suspension?
No, that would have been ridiculous.
I know, but you're saying they need harsher suspensions, but
for the pitcher, not for the hitter.
I know, but he still charged the mound and threw his helmet at the guy.
Because he's fed up.
I know.
I wasn't doing anything about it. He has to police it himself.
They're in a tough situation because they're always going to suspend both guys, right? And really, it needs to be the pitcher who if they say you threw at him on purpose, we know you did, you're gone. So I said my piece.
That's what it's got to be, and so Harper was just very frustrated because he sees that Major League Baseball isn't doing anything about it, so he took matters into his own hand and he charged the mound.
And Bryce Harper's wife or girlfriend on Twitter was getting a lot of negative tweets thrown at her, and she stood up for her man.
I didn't even know that.
I'll send you the. We need to keep the PG. We need to keep the PG rating on the show, so I'll just send it to you.
I'm so out of touch when it comes to Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff.
You're like Bill Belichick. You don't go on the twit face or the.
I know what they're
snap face or the.
I know what they're called.
Twitgram.
I just don't use them. I know what they're called. I just don't use them.
You're awesome. It's people like you that keep this world going.
I'm not sure about that.
I don't even know what that means.
The Skip and Josh Sports Show is back.
Changing the topic.
Okay.
I think it was on episode 3. We have to go back and look at the archives.
I can't remember that.
So, as the listeners know, often we have a segment called What Bugs Me because Josh keeps a list of things that bug him.
Yes, as I do now.
Yeah. And at one point, maybe in the third or fourth episode, I had my What Bugs Me.
Mm-hmm.
You remember what my first What Bugs Me was?
I don't remember.
Tiger Woods.
Oh! I didn't know if we were going to talk about this today.
So, look, Tiger Woods himself doesn't bug me. Whatever.
He does, actually. Tiger Woods himself actually does bug me.
Yeah, I was sick about at the time of like anytime the guy makes one shot in a game, everyone's like, "Oh my God, Tiger Woods is back! He's gonna win the Masters. He's gonna be great again. He's gonna be great again." And these people can't see what's right in front of their eyes is that he's not gonna be great again. He's not good at golf anymore, and he should have retired 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Now in the news this week, Tiger Woods got pulled over for DUI. Do you see the mugshot?
Yeah.
It's spectacular. Yeah, that's a spectacular.
Although in fairness, if you were up all night and didn't sleep, you'd probably look bad too.
Well, yeah, it's funny because the details about this story are coming out like in piecemeal. First we heard he was arrested. Didn't know exactly what happened. When you hear DUI, you assume it's alcohol. Then the next day he comes out and says it wasn't alcohol. I didn't have anything to drink, and it's related to prescription medication. That doesn't make it better in my eyes, right? But
right.
And now today the story came out that when they pulled him over, he was on the side of the road sleeping. They had to wake him up.
Right, and the car wasn't moving.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know what to say. Look,
and apparently they did do a breathalyzer, and it was 000.
Well, did you read that for sure? Because I heard that he refused a breathalyzer.
I heard that too, but I heard another story where they did take a breathalyzer test, and it was 000. By the way, how do you have the option to refuse a breathalyzer test? I don't get that.
I don't get that either. If you refuse, I don't know. Yeah, you're right. How can you? I don't know. I guess they can't force you. They can't force you to do it, but then they're just going to arrest you on the spot and then maybe get a court order or whatever,
So I want to talk about this, but I want to switch gears a little bit.
Sure.
Because there were two things that happened this week where there was a big story about something, and then a sub-story came out of it that became bigger than the actual story.
Okay.
So this was one of them because there's the whole Tiger Woods thing.
Mm-hmm.
But then a sub-story came out of the Tiger Woods thing where ESPN, when they used his mugshot, they altered it a bit to make him look better than he actually did.
What? I didn't
hear
this.
this. Did you? Okay.
No.
So what happened was on ESPN, not apparently, like you can Google this.
Yeah.
When they put his mugshot on SportsCenter, the picture of the mugshot is different than the mugshot you've seen in all the other on all the other websites.
Well, because the picture is really bad.
So the picture that ESPN used actually doesn't look bad at all.
Oh my God.
And so there's all these conspiracy theorists that said ESPN wants to be nice to Tiger because they need Tiger, and they want him to still do interviews and things like that. So they altered the photo, or they used a different photo altogether. I don't know. So that he wouldn't be pissed off.
That's just bad for ESPN because in this day and age, how do people know? They know people are going to find out about it. The picture's going to circulate a bajillion times, and eventually someone's going to find out, hey, ESPN's is propping up Tiger for no reason. It's so stupid. Typical ESPN.
But then a few people pointed out that this may not have been done intentionally. So you got to go read the story, but I'll try to paraphrase it as much as I can.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, what happens is when they get the actual mugshot, they need to crop it in such a way so that it fits onto their
their monitors or their
right, exactly,
graphics.
And so the software that is used to you just want the outline of the head and the shoulders. You don't want the background.
Right.
So, but when you use the software, and there's a good video of it online, somebody demonstrated how it happens. The background in this particular case was green. And so when you're trying to crop out the green, what ends up happening is you end up cutting out some of the hair that's sticking up at the top of his head. That's,
right.
All messed up.
Okay.
And when you do that and you see the finished product,
here he looked better because his hair wasn't so messy.
Exactly. And so some people were saying it wasn't because ESPN was trying to make him look good. It's just that the software that was used to crop his head isn't exact.
This is where we've come to.
So anyway,
this is what things have come to. Tiger Woods' hair
My point is that the story became not, Tiger Woods DUI,
Yeah.
but the whole headshot that was used on ESPN. So a sub story became more important than the actual story.
Wow.
And the other situation where this happened this week was with the Bryce Harper Hunter Strickland thing. And so, of course, that's the main story. But then the sub story was that Buster Posey didn't even go out to try to stop Harper.
Yeah.
And that became bigger than the actual story. So two different things this week where a sub story became more important than the actual story.
Good call, Cubby. I'm loving it.
That's all I'm saying.
That's good stuff. I wish Tiger Woods all the best. Don't have anything personal against the guy. He was a great golfer. I just wish he'd retired from golf so we could stop. So the game of golf could move on. Everyone's waiting for him to come back, and he's never going to come back.
I have nothing personal against him either, but I'm not rooting for him.
Well,
he's a jerk. He's rude to everybody.
Yeah.
Whether it's reporters or fans or whatever, and you get what you deserve in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, I hope he turns his life around. I mean, obviously, you don't want him to. I don't want harm to come to him, but he has not made good decisions. One of our good friends used to tell me when he was talking to his kids when they were really little, and the kids were having trouble in school because they were acting out, and the teacher was, this is when they were very young. The teacher, wrote a note home saying, or had a meeting with the parents and said, there's some bad behaviors and we want to try to stop it. And this dad said to the kid every day before going to school, make good decisions today. Make good decisions today. And all you can say about Tiger Woods is he's made a bunch of bad decisions. So that's the Tiger Woods segment.
Check out the Skip and Josh Sports Show on Twitter. You know that little app with the little blue Tweety bird? Yeah, you can follow them there at Skip and Josh.
Do you have anything bugging you this week? What's on the What Bugs Me list?
I have a small What Bugs Me.
Small? Is there such a thing as a small What Bugs Me?
There is.
They're all good, no?
Well, you'll be the judge.
Okay, go for it.
You're kidding me? Boy, are you bugging me, man? I'm gonna nail. Ooh, God. I'm getting bugged now. Whoa, man.
So now, and it's amplified now because it's playoff time in hockey and playoff time in basketball.
Right.
So after every single game, you've got these post-game press conferences. Rather than having the interviews in the locker room like they do for a regular season game, you see, some of the key players come out to the podium and they've got their nameplate in front of them, and the coach comes out to the podium and he's got his nameplate in front of him, and you've got this whole room full of reporters, and they're all asking questions. And the thing that bugs me about these things, first of all, it really bugs me when the player brings his kid out with him. That bugs the hell out of me.
It's so cute, no? Didn't you love Curry's daughter, Riley Curry? She's a star.
It's cute, but the thing is, these reporters are trying to do their job.
Yeah.
And if you're going to ask the guy like a tough question and he's sitting there playing with his kid, if there was a controversial play or if he didn't have such a good game and you want to ask him a tough question, it's harder to ask that kind of question when your kid's crawling around on the table. Generally,
it's the winning team that brings out their kid, right? The losing team doesn't usually do that. So
that's fine.
Yeah.
But that's not what bugs me the most. What bugs me the most is no matter what the question is, no matter who they're asking it to, they never get an answer anyway. It's the worst questions and the worst answers I've ever heard.
Well, we talked about this. The reason why Tony Kornheiser doesn't have any athletes on his show, because they're not good guests. Athletes don't give good interviews. They say the same nonsense. They give non-answers. And that's it. I mean, it's a waste of time for everybody. Honestly, everybody's up there actually just waiting for someone to say something controversial, to screw up and say something controversial, right? All you can do is either be boring, and then nobody wants to talk about you, or you're gonna be the headline the next day because you said something wrong, But I have a what bugs me about your what bugs me.
Okay, but let me just give one more example, and then you can go.
Sure.
So, I don't know if you saw the post-game press conference when the Ottawa Senators got eliminated.
I did not.
Okay, Guy Boucher was up there for a while.
Yeah.
And he is, I don't know what the word is. I think he's a good actor. So they asked him, the first question that was asked, how do you put into words how you're feeling right now after losing such a heartbreaking series?
What is he supposed to say?
Well, he doesn't say anything. He pauses for a really long time, for effect.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can't. In other words, I can't put it into words.
Okay.
And then later on in the whole presser, and I know you love that word.
Oh, presser. Well, that was what bugs me from a few weeks ago.
I know. Later on, another reporter asked him, so what did you say to the players in the locker room after the game?
Yeah.
And he says, that stays between us.
Okay. So what's the point of having him out there?
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's all. You can have
Well, no, my what bugs me. I have a what bugs me about your what bugs me.
Okay.
So they trot these guys out, right? They bring out LeBron James and Kyrie Irving, and they stand in front of the podium, and they've got the background, with the NBA logo on it or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
NBA, the finals logo and all this. And then, this is what really bugs me. They've got strategically placed bottles of Gatorade.
Oh, 100%.
So they've got the bottles of Gatorade. They've got the bottles of Gatorade placed on the table to make it look like LeBron and Irving are drinking the Gatorade. But meanwhile, they're just there.
Yeah, that's not by accident.
Of course it's not by accident.
Every league does that.
It bothers me so much. I'm like, who are they fooling? Whenever I see this, I'm like, what do they think? Do they think, why are, oh, God.
Gatorade pays a lot of money for that, by the way.
Yeah, product placement, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's my take on it.
Okay.
All right. So, anything else?
No, I don't have much to talk about.
Okay.
There's not much going on because now we have to wait 7 days between games.
Yeah, you're right. Well, next episode, we'll probably have a little bit of a break in between this one and the next because I'm going to be in Chicago for a few days.
Okay, say hi to Patrick Kane for me.
I will. Definitely, when I see him, it'll be the first thing I mention to him that, by the way, Josh says hi.
Okay.
So, as a reminder, go on iTunes, or as it's called now, Apple Podcasts, and find our podcast and give us a review. Positive review, please. That will help us on getting up the iTunes ranks. And, I mean, if you found the show and you're listening already, you've already found it. So, you found it either on iTunes or Stitcher or Google Play Music, TuneIn Radio, anywhere where you kind of get podcasts. You can find us. Just search for Skip and Josh Sports Show.
Tell your friends.
Yeah.
Tell your classmates.
Yeah. Tell your coworkers.
Yeah.
Spread the word.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, skipandjoshshow@gmail.com. If you want to drop us a line, tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want us to talk about, what you don't want us to talk about, or hit us up on Twitter @skipandjosh and follow us and see what we have to say. I've been posting a bunch of Twitter polls and funny little articles. So I'll post the articles about all the weird stuff that we talked about today, the things that we mentioned in the show.
Cool.
And I'm looking forward to the next 40 episodes.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Speak to you next week.
All right. Enjoy Montreal.
Thanks. Enjoy Toronto.
Thanks.
The Skip and Josh Sports Show is over now. Don't worry, there'll be another episode soon.